What's good? It's Fevir. Today I wanted to showcase a bit of Lost Ark gameplay. There's going to be a lot of it uploaded to the channel over the next week or two, but like yesterday's video, it won't be pushed out to subscribers, so hopefully I don't spam the shit out of you. But if you are interested in Lost Ark, just pay a visit to the channel specifically and you should see it there. The footage that you're seeing right now is of the warrior main class. He is decked out in this monstrous greatsword. You should see the sword that I started with. He's obviously melee, and this bit of gameplay is just at the point where I'll be pushed to specialize my class, and at that point, unless I choose the greatsword specialization subclass, I'll have an entirely different suite of abilities, which pushed me to just show off what I have before that. And this area in the game also represents a kind of wrapping up of this class's personalized starting area and storyline, so it seemed like just a great spot to push record. Unfortunately, I do want to confirm, it was one of the comments in the prior video, that gender locking is a thing, so this warrior class, as well as those specializations, the giant hammer wielder, the gunlance, or using the greatsword still, are all going to be male characters. Now, one of the things that you'll notice really quickly is the lag. You'll see my ping go from 200 to 400 to 300 to 600, and while the movement still looks smooth, that's why there's this weird delay sometimes when I hit an enemy and then they take a moment to either take damage or to react to the swing, and that's mainly just due to the VPN. I heard that they were having some slight server issues, but I don't think it's on their end at all. Something that you'll notice a couple times are these novelties, like I'm going to jump over this chasm, right? And these are these contextual actions that just help to liven up the movement, I guess, from point A to point B. You push G and then you do something, right? So push G and you climb a wall. You push G and you jump a chasm. You push G and you swing a rope. You push G and you grab onto a dandelion and you float it across the wind. But all this stuff, and I want to bring it up, is that you can't do it. You can't jump and you can't climb outside of these specific areas, and these are really just used in these more linear dungeon scenario type areas. I don't really see that much in the open world, but I don't want you to watch the footage and be like, oh, the character can jump and you can also climb down. In most cases as well, these just sort of act to break up the dungeon, because once you make that jump, you're not able to make the jump back, if that makes sense. You may also notice sometimes when I kill enemies, they'll drop potions and gold and items, but also sometimes these colored balls. And these colored balls, when you run over them, they seem to give you like a 30-second buff, much like Diablo 3's Nephilim Valor. There's a green one, which I can feel that it gives me a movement speed increase. The one that I have currently right now, I believe, was a yellow ball. I have no idea what it does. My guess is damage. All I know at this point is that they are buffs. You run over them, they're 30 seconds, they don't stack, and they're not uncommon. You find them all the time when you're fighting. So in the storyline, which I am horribly piecing together, I'm imagining that everything that I have done so far, all of the tasks and trials, have been to unlock or to prove myself worthy to equip this Sword of Prophecy, which looks super cool. That's about as good as I can piece together from this wonderfully voice-acted story that unfortunately is in a language I can't understand. But what's kind of cool at this point is now that I've equipped this sword, I can show off some of the cold elemental and the fire elemental damage types. You're going to see certain monsters burst into flames, but also be frozen and shatter, and this just seems to be the attributes of the weapons transferring to the skills themselves. Kinda cool. It's pretty standard in action RPGs, but in a game that's as pretty as this, it's cool to see those effects. Much like other action RPGs, it does seem like the enemy's AI isn't quite the brightest. I think there's only one boss fight in this video, it's at the very end, but there are frequent boss type monsters as you're playing the game, and there's also these like field bosses, so they're not quite world bosses, but they're strong enemies from a zone that they all just require a little bit more out of you. And if you skip ahead, you can see me kind of fail a bit on the main boss of this scenario, but it's not quite that there are mechanics yet, right? Like this is probably like the first major story boss that I'm taking into, but there are things to avoid. But that's going to do it for me. I'll raise the volume level of the video and just let it play out so that you can enjoy it without having to hear me talk. Until next time, guys, this is Fevir.
드디어 찾았군. 주사위를 얼어붙게 만든 신의 선물을. 이제 불타는 악마들의 세상이 열릴 것이다. 어허. 조무래니가 용케도 여기까지 따라왔고. 좋다. 너부터 잿더미로 만들어주마.
불길을 저지한 빙결의 전사여, 세계의 오랜 평화를 부수고 혼란을 퍼뜨리며 복수의 검을 들고 진군할 시면의 악마들이 보이는구나. 그대, 나의 이름으로 새로운 운명을 받들어 악마에 맞서는 신의 전사가 되어라.